Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troll.
(1973 to 1976). Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 1973-76 Carryover League. And today we are going to begin the post-All-Star break portion of our schedule, which is the Race for the Pennant tournament. This is where we methodically start eliminating the worst teams in the game until we establish a playoff field and give fair competition to teams attempting to win divisions and so forth. We begin today with a series between Boston and Baltimore. The first series I'll be playing are battles between first and second place teams. We'll look at the schedule for that here. 7-game division titles, but really the lead in the division is what we're looking for. Nothing gets clinched this early just after the All-Star break. So we have the first and second place teams are playing, and home and away is dictated by flipping where they met the first time. We also have the result of what happened the first time. So Boston with a +1 means they won a best-of-7 series 4-3, winning Game 7 at Fenway Park. So now Baltimore has home field. The Red Sox are a half game behind. So this is a traditional best-of-7, meaning that you kick the tiebreaker in if the teams are tied or separated by a half a game. In this particular case, Boston would only be ahead by a half a game, but they would have the tiebreaker because that +1 would turn into a +2. So that's why this is a conventional best-of-7, even though the Red Sox are half game back. And that's just to say who's in first after these games, these 7 games. So with that, Game 1, opening up in Baltimore. There's been a day off during the All-Star break, so most teams have their ace going in Game 1, like it's opening day. It's Louis Tiant for Boston, Jim Palmer for the Orioles. This is a great series. It's a great game and a great series. Bottom of the third inning, you get a Kenny Singleton 2-run homer. 2-zip. Boston battles back in the 5th. A couple singles after a couple outs, you get a walk. An RBI single by Fisk. It's a 2-2 tie. In the 6th inning, Baltimore gets a run on a wild pitch with runners at second and third. So they take a 3-2 lead. But in the 9th inning, Palmer and Tiant are both going for complete games into the 9th inning. As a matter of fact, the two teams decided to waive the extra inning rule, the modern game where you guys start at second base, because both pitchers are starter 9s, and they said, both teams agreed, let's just play conventional extra innings if it goes that far. Rico Petrocelli, all-star, third baseman for the Red Sox. Solo homer in the 9th, game is tied. But after 2 outs in the 9th inning, number 9 hitter, catcher Earl Williams gets a homer off his own card, and the Orioles win it in a walk-off 4-3. Great game. Game number 2. Boston would love to get victories when Tiant and Lee are on the mound and get a road win. It's Bill Lee against Wayne Garland. Starts out good for Boston. RBI single by Fisk, 1-zip. But in the 4th inning, trouble for Bill Lee. After a couple outs, he gets up a couple walks, a double, a single, and then it is trying to score from first. Trying to score from second on a double after he doubled is the Sensei. He gets thrown out by the -2 armor Rick Miller. So it's just a 2-1 game. instead of holding up at third and trying for more runs. So that was a great defensive play by Boston. And it would hold up in this one. Garland went 7. They turned to Grant Jackson in the 8th. And what the Orioles have found out is they just don't want to lean on any particular pitcher. Maybe Jim Palmer, they lean on him. But they're willing to, pull Garland to starter 8 in the 7th. They're willing to allow Grant Jackson to set up Dyer Miller to set up Grant Jackson. Whatever matchups are matchups, because, these two teams are full of great hitters, or great defense, too. That is something about, the whole American League East outfield. Baltimore's got Paul Blair in center as a 1. The Yankees have Bobby Mercer as a 1, and Elliot Maddox in right field as a 1. And Boston can outdo all that with Fred Lynn a 1 in center, Dwight Evans a 1 in right, Rick Miller a 1 in left. It's almost impossible to get hit into the outfield when these teams meet. 2-1. Baltimore does get the victory. Garland went 7, 8 hits, a run. Dyer Miller gets the save. Bill Lee, a complete game loss. So that's back-to-back complete games for the Big Two of Boston, but they could not get a win in Baltimore. That could be costly. We go to Game 3 in Fenway Park, and it's going to be Mike Cuellar for Baltimore and Rick Wise for Boston, and we get some offense finally. Boston, they gotta score more runs. You got to win with this offense. And because Baltimore can outmaneuver you with better starting pitching and better relief pitching. So you just got to get as many runs as when you can get them. RBI single by Rice in the first. 3-run homer by Steve Dillard in the second inning. This is a great story. Steve Dillard is literally the 20th Red Sox player. He's the backup utility infielder. He's a base stealer, so he stole a base and scored in the first, and then he hits a 3-run homer in the second. There's the story for you. But Baltimore gets to Rick Wise in the fourth. Single walk. Then Lee May gets a triple on his card. A triple in Fenway Park. Probably one of those balls that ricochets around the stairwell or the catwalk or whatever the heck that thing is. And all the jagged, strange corners that field has. Al Bunbury follows up with another triple. Scores on a Bill Sharp single. Baltimore's up 5-4. They add another triple by Ken Singleton, sac fly Lee May. It's 6-4, but in the 8th inning, Cuellar puts a couple guys on with 2 outs, and they elect to pull the lefty because Carlton Fisk destroys lefties. So you got righty Fisk, righty Rice, and Sudakas is better against lefties. So they pull Cuellar for Eddie Watt. Well, Eddie Watt gives up a single, and a K. Doesn't get anybody out. The K, Tippy Martinez to come in and strike out the lefty Fred Lynn. Baltimore battles back again in the 8th and 9th innings. 7 innings in the books for Rick Wise. Bobby Bolin comes in, loads the bases with nobody out in the 8th, and he gets a pop out, a force out at the plate, and a strikeout. Does the same trick in the 9th, but hits the point of weakness, and Ray Lamb gives up an RBI single. So Baltimore ties it at 8. This one goes into conventional extra inning. Excuse me, Baltimore tied it at 7. This one went into conventional extra inning. Baltimore got an RBI single by Blair to make it 8-7, but in the bottom of the inning, the Red Sox, believe it or not, were playing for a tie because they decided to bunt the runner over from second to third, figuring that the only way to beat Baltimore is to outlast their bullpen, which had used everybody and they were down to the last pitcher. Didn't matter. Fred Lynn doubles to tie the game, and then Rick Burleson doubles to win the game in a walk-off, 9-8 Boston. Fun stuff all the way around in this one, folks. And so we go to a game 4. And this is the pivotal game right here. It's the number 4 starters, Rorik Harrison and Sonny Siebert. I can tell you right now, both teams, when these guys pitch for each team, they would have preferred the previous day not to have to use the bullpen. Baltimore used all their relievers, and the Red Sox used a couple of theirs, and they're going to need them again today. Because Rorik Harrison and Sonny Siebert aren't going to make it through the 6th inning. Early on, it is good pitching, as it's just a 1-1 game until the bottom of the fifth, when the Red Sox get 2 hits and a walk and 2 runs off of Rorik Harrison to take a 3-1 lead. But Sonny Siebert, he hits his point of weakness in the 6th inning. And then Boston's first lefty reliever, Chris Short, is brought in because lefties Al Bunbury, Bill Sharp, and Johnny Edwards are due up. He has a miserable outing. Just miserable. He got 1 out, gave up 3 hits, 2 walks, and 4 runs. And 3-1 lead turns into a 7-3 deficit. Boston eventually knocks out Rorik Harrison in the 6th, a Cecil Cooper triple, a Rick Burleson single. But they pinch hit for Dillard, or actually no, they pinched hit for Rick Miller and Doug Griffin with Dwight Evans and Steve Dillard. Bill Sadakis got injured earlier at third base, so Petrocelli had to come off the bench and play third. Then Petrocelli gets injured, and then suddenly Boston has only 8 players left. So it's just 8 players left. They had to abandon the designated hitter. Yastrzemski can actually play third base. This must have happened to him in 1973. So Yastrzemski's at third. Cecil Cooper goes to first. They still have Rice and Evans and Lynn in the outfield, Burleson and Dillard and Fisk catching. So Rick Wise takes over as designated hitter. And there's still 3 innings left in the game, so Rick Wise will have to bat in this. Turns out Boston's bullpen does well after the fact. Baltimore doesn't score again. But this time, Eddie Watt comes in and pitches 2 1/3 innings of relief without allowing a hit, including striking out Rick Wise in the 9th inning. I guess it doesn't really matter who the pitcher batting is in this case. I just picked Rick Wise because he pitched yesterday and he pitched in the National League with the Phillies, so he probably could swing it a little bit, but it didn't matter. Baltimore wins 7-4. A rather fun and intriguing and a lot of fun moments, a lot of great defense, a lot of decisions to make, and the teams have to make a lot of gambles and guesses, and there's a lot of switches to throw at these teams. They do fear each other. They do counterpunch very well with each other. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses very well, and they just played a 7-game series, even though the Orioles up 3-1 today. Game 5 at Fenway. You can sense the Red Sox know that they pretty much need to win at least one more game if they still think they can catch the Orioles in the East. If they lose 4-1, it's going to be extremely difficult, and then they'd have to go for the wild card route. So that's a big day for the Red Sox to win this second game if they can. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a rematch of Game 1. Jim Palmer for Baltimore. His Cy Young card is 75, 23-game winner, 2.09 ERA, 323 innings. And the Red Sox will go to their counterpart, Louis Tiant. His 74 card, which is better than the World Series card of 75, 22-game winner, 292 ERA, 311 innings. Both starter 9s, both teams have decided to waive the extra inning rule as well, because we got a couple starter 9s out there, folks. We like to make history, even if it goes 16, 17 innings. We want to have a fun game. We don't want to have a cheap result in extra, like the modern game often does. All right, let's get started from Fenway. Leading off for Baltimore is Bobby Grich. 1-5, single, 1-16, and he gets it. Batting second, Mark Belanger, who went to the All-Star game. 3-6 is a walk, and the Orioles have something going in the first. Number 3 hitter, Kenny Singleton. And 1-5 is a walk, and this Oriole team has done this a lot. They did this against Bobby Boleyn in the Game 3 Boston victory, and Boleyn got the next 3 batters out, 4, 5, and 6. So he's got to pull the same trick. Not Bobby Boleyn. Louis Tiant has got to pull that same trick. The cleanup hitter, first baseman Lee May. 2 7s, a strikeout. Now you got number 5 hitter, Al Bunbury. Baltimore's put Al Bunbury in the 5 spot, and the Orioles have taken off because they need some hits. They need to drive these runs in. Grich walks, Belanger walks, Singleton walks. Nobody really can knock the runs in. So Bunbury's 337 average has a ton of hits on his card, and that's why he's normally leading off. But for this team, this is where they need him. And it's a big moment for the Orioles in the American League East right now. Here's your pitch to Al Bunbury. 49 off Tiant is double one, single out. It's a 2-run single, and Baltimore's got a 2-0 lead. Runners on the corners. They got to hold Bunbury, and it's going to be Brooks Robinson. 1-8 off of Brooks Robinson's cards, a single to center field. 1-run scores. Bunbury will not take on the arm of Fred Lynn in center field. He'll be content at second with 3 runs already crossing and still just 1 out. Number 7 hitter, free agent Bill Sharp. 2-7 is a K, and with 2 outs, it's Paul Blair. 3-6 is a ground ball to short. So Baltimore gets 3 runs, but Boston kind of knew they're gonna have to score runs. They knew they needed at least 3 runs off of Palmer. They're gonna need more than that now. And Carl Yastrzemski will lead off. 47, single 1-7 off Palmer, lines out. Doug Griffin, 2-6, is a grounder to short. And Fred Lynn, 1-11, grounds to first. Top of 2, it's Earl Williams. 2-7, single 1-17, gets it. Baltimore's come to Fenway Park and they found their stroke. Even though they lost that one game, they scored 8 runs, and yesterday they scored 7. This is a team that gets 1 or 2 runs and hopes their pitching staff can hold on. But they're finally started clicking here in Fenway. Bobby Grich. 4-5, it continues. A triple 1-7 chance. It's a single ... And here we go again. Runners are on the corners. You have to bring it up for A. Bunting, Mark Belanger. 1-8's a strikeout. They're going to keep, well, runners on the corners. Yeah, you don't want to bring the infield up. You'd rather go for a Kenny Singleton double play. They'll play it back. Here's the pitch to Ken Singleton. 1-9 is a walk. The guy walked 100 and some times. 123 walks. Bases are loaded. Playing back for Lee May. And if you're wondering, there is no safety net for Tiant. He is there to stay. They are not going to go to this bullpen until maybe the 6th or 7th inning. Or if Tiant gets injured or hits the point of weakness in the first 4. So they just got to sit and spin and hope for the best. Bases loaded, 1 out. Playing back, Lee May. 59 off Tiant is ground ball second C, and that will score a run. And with 2 outs now, it's Al Bunbury, second and third. 2-5 flies to center. Well, only 1 run, it's 4-zip. Jim Rice, 57's a K. Cecil Cooper, 2-9, third. Carlton Fisk, 47, 1-13 for a base hit. He misses it. We go to the third. Brooks Robinson. 1-9 hits his column. They are clicking, Baltimore. This is the most offense we've seen from these guys in a long time. Bill Sharp, 66, flies to center. Paul Blair, 1-5. That's a 5-4-3 double play. Well, they've actually put 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 men on. Have only scored 4 times. So that's a victory in itself for the Red Sox. Here is all-star third baseman Rico Petrocelli. 53, rolls to first. Rick Miller, 4-11, left decks. Out in left field, Bill Sharp's a 2-5. It's one of the reasons why Baltimore went out and got him. But he can make a play off the monster. It's a single. And now number 9 hitter, Rick Burleson. You take away a lot of the hit and run opportunities when you're down 4 runs. And with Miller and Burleson, they normally would like to do stuff like that. Burleson swings away. 2-7 gets a hit anyway. It's a single to center. Miller will not take on the Paul Blair arm, down 4. First and second. Boston has they're cooking in the third here. It'll be Yastrzemski. 47, single 1-7, and they get it finally. So that's the hit off the Palmer card that he gets most of the time, gets you out, and that's why he wins a Cy Young. But they get it there. 3 hits with 1 out. 4-0 lead. Doug Griffin. You can play back with a big lead even and give up a fielder's choice. That's not a big deal. They're going to play back. 58, sac fly to left field. Boston's on the scoreboard. First and second, 2 out for Fred Lynn. 53, right X, but that's not good. Right field is Kenny Singleton with bad range of 45 and right. That's going to be a single ... That will score a run. Yaz ends up at third. It's 4-2. The tying runs are aboard for Jim Rice. 1-4 flies to left. But Boston cuts Baltimore's lead in half as we go to the fourth. It's Earl Williams. 57 is a strikeout. Back up top to Bobby Grich. 56, another strikeout. And with 2 outs, it's Belanger, 49. Another strikeout, and Tiant's starting to click here now. He's gotten the last 6 batters out. Bottom of the fourth, Boston down a couple. It's Cecil Cooper. 42, a comebacker to the mound. Carlton Fisk, 2-7. That's a base hit. Your tie run is Rico Petrocelli. Fans love him here. 54, center X, Blair. What's great center fielders, both teams. He's a 1-7 in center. Good luck with that. And with 2 outs, it is Rick Miller. 36 is a fly ball to right. The number of 1 defensive players employed by these rosters. First off, Yastrzemski is not a 1. Sometimes he's a 1 in the outfield, sometimes he's a 1 at first base. He's a 2 now, so we can't include him. But we've got Lynn, we have Miller, we have Evans. For Baltimore, we have Grich, we have Belanger, we have Brooks Robinson, we have Paul Blair. We have 7 1s representing these 2 teams. Unreal. Top of the 5th, Ken Singleton. 1-7's a strikeout. Lee May, 69, pops to third. And Al Bumbry, 67, is a liner to second. Louis Tiant buckles up. Puts the pressure squarely on Jim Palmer as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, it'll be the Rooster, Rick Burleson. 3-5 flies to center. Yastrzemski, 49, off Palmer is second X. Grich is a 1E20. High E rating, though. And he makes an error as soon as I mention it. Yeah, E20 for a second baseman isn't really that great. But he's a 1, but tendency to make a throwing error, apparently. That's an error. And now the tie run is Doug Griffin. 1-6 flies to center. With 2 outs, it's Fred Lynn. 1-9, double into 11 is a double. You got second and third with 2 outs, and it's Jim Rice. 1-7's a strikeout. Just misses the column. 4-2 into the 6th. It'll be Brooks Robinson. 46, double 1-2 base hits. First hit since the 3rd inning. Bill Sharp, 62, first C. Moves the runner into scoring position for Paul Blair. 38's a walk, first and second. Playing back for a double play here, Earl Williams. 46 hits the Tiant column. You know, it's really been self-inflicted damage for Tiant. They're hitting his card, even though it's a good card. They're just hitting the high rolls. 46, double 1-2. That's a single ... and Baltimore adds a run. It's now 5-2. Still have to stick with Tiant. There's no remedy in the bullpen until maybe you get into the later innings with Moret and Belen, but this is the Achilles heel of the Red Sox that has to be rectified by next year, or they may never make it to a 75 World Series. Runners on the corners. They're going to bring it up for Bobby Grich. Can't afford any more damage. 62, first C. So by bringing the infield up, the runner does not score. The runner at first goes to second. Second and third, 2 outs, and Mark Belanger. 46 again, off of Tiant's card. These are not Baltimore hits. These are Tiant hits. And it's Tiant damage throughout this game. That is a killer. Double 1-2, single ... again for the second time in the inning. But that will score the 2 runs. And it is now 7-2. Not looking good for the Red Sox with Jim Palmer on the other dugout. Ken Singleton, 1-3, grounds are short. Palmer knows what he has to do. He needs to get 12 outs with a 5-run lead, and that would put Baltimore in command of the American League East for the Cy Young winner from Baltimore. So Cecil Cooper leads off. 62 rolls to first. So again, it's been 8, 7, and 7 runs so far in 3 games in Fenway. My goodness. Carlton Fisk, 59, second. And one of those games was against Tiant. One of those games is against Rick Wise, who's a nice starter. Bill Lee pitched a nice game, but it was in Baltimore. Enrico Petrocelli, 410. Third X, and here's Brooks Robinson, a 119. Makes the play. Top of the 7th for Tiant. He's still going. I'm living and dying with our boys, Tiant and Lee. It'll be Lee May. 2-8, double 1 to 3 is a base hit. Now Al Bumbry. 2-7's a strikeout. Brooks Robinson, who's 3 for 3. 2-10 pops to short. And Bill Sharp. 35 grounds to second. Baltimore, they have one defensive replacement. They're going to put Dick Sharon in the outfield. Make Kenny Singleton a designated hitter. Now you got Sharp and Sharon and Blair in the outfield. 2 2s and a 1. As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch time here in Fenway Park, we are enjoying Boston's very own Aerosmith with their 1975 LP. Toys in the Attic. Toys in the Attic. Walk This Way. And Sweet Emotion. The big hits. The big selling records from Aerosmith's finest. From Boston's finest, Aerosmith. Or Aerosmith's fine Boston. Or whatever the heck that I was about to say there. Anyway. Bottom of the 7th. Palmer continues. 7-2 lead. All his defense is there. It'll be Rick Miller. 111 grounds the first. The Rooster Burleson, 36. Let's take a look at a card. I haven't seen many. We've been playing so quickly now. Rick Burleson, nice 1974. Actually better hitter in 74 than the World Series year of 75. As a 2 at second base and a 3 at short. So that gives this team versatility when they use Dillard and when they use Griffin. A 284 hitter. In the World Series year, I think he's only a 250-something hitter, but his range is a little bit better. 3-6, homer 1 to 4 double. It's a 2-base hit. We go back up top to Yastrzemski. Leading off because of his plus 100 walks. And they'll take a walk at this point, down by 5. 59, though, grounds the second. The runner does go to third with 2 outs for Doug Griffin. And 2-4 is a fly ball left. Palmer's Palmer through 7 with 6 outs to get. We go to the 8th inning. It'll be Paul Blair. 1-7. Let's take a look at the Blair card of 1974. If Baltimore's going to do it, it's going to be done by a committee. They don't have a gigantic monster hitter here. So they need to get runs the top, middle, and bottom. And having some speed and hit and run ability with Brooks can hit and run, Blair, Bill Sharp, and then you got a lot of walks up the top, and then you have Singleton and Bumbry hit 300. It's a committee effort for Baltimore. In the case of Blair, he had 17 home runs and a 261 average in 1974. Still has all those tools: range, arm, base stealing, speed, and power. His average has dipped, though. He was hitting 280, now he's hitting just 260. 1-7, homer 108, and Blair gets it, and it is now 8-2. Well, yeah, it's easy to see how great the Orioles can be once they're hitting this well. I mean, if they're the best team in the American League, easily, if they hit this well. But it's been like pulling teeth year after year after year for them to do that. For instance, in 1972, they were horrible. Had one of the worst offenses in Major League Baseball and wasted a great pitching staff and won about 80 games. So that's the scenario that they have to follow. Earl Williams, 410, center X. Your center fielder is Lynn, 188, makes the catch. Now, at this point, it really doesn't matter if we keep Tion in or go to someone else. I don't think you're really going to improve your luck down 6. Bobby Grich, 44, homer 1 of 13. That's a double, and maybe, just maybe, we should just think about throwing that towel in here with Tion. He's just put a ton of guys on base. It's not practical to leave a guy in who's been battered around that much. So they're going to go to Roger Moret here in the 8th. Moret is probably better suited to be starter, but they got nothing in the bullpen, so they need somebody back there. He was 13-2 in 73 with a 3.17 ERA at 156 innings. Starter relief, but they're asking him to be your lefty setup guy or sometimes a lefty closer. If I'm guessing, the guy probably wouldn't like that, but not a lot he can do about it. He comes in the 8th inning, and he'll face Mark Belanger. 1-3, grounds to short, and Ken Singleton. 4-12, rolls to first. 8-2, bottom of the 8th. It'll be Freddie Lynn. 2-11, grounds to first. Do the Red Sox have a crooked number inning to make this at least interesting in the last 6 outs? Jim Rice, 54, center X. 1E7 in center is Blair. And Blair! Okay, there's your door opener. So Paul Blair has been untouched this year, and he finally misplays a fly ball for the first time. It's a 2-base error to open the door. As that happened, what I was thinking of is that Boston has played all 7-game series against their American League East foes this year. They lost 7 games to the Yankees, and they beat Toronto in 7 and Baltimore in 7. Of course, we know they would play 7-game World Series against Cincinnati Reds in 75. So for this to be Game 5, it just seemed kind of unlikely that they would lose this thing, but here we are. So, do they have that rally in them against a Cy Young winner? You'd have to hit Palmer's point of weakness, which doesn't come until the 9th inning, or an injury, something fluky like that. Cecil Cooper, 58's a pop to second. And with 2 outs, it's Carlton Fisk. 2-3 is a fly ball to right field. We'll go to the 9th. Lee May leads off. 2-8, double 1-2, base hit. Dick Sharon, the defensive replacement for Bunbury, 65, flies to right. Brooks Robinson, who's having a 3-hit day, 57 is a strikeout. And Bill Sharp, 66 off Moret's a walk, making it even more desperate for the Sox here. 2 on 2 outs, and here's Blair, who homered his last time up. 47 is a walk, and Roger Moret, again, this Red Sox bullpen, you can't trust any of them, really. Earl Williams, bases loaded, 2 outs to the 9th. Here's the pitch. 2-6, and that is a strikeout. So Baltimore does not add on, and frankly, they had opportunities to get into double digits today, plenty of them. They still have 8 runs, and that's more than enough for Jim Palmer to finish this thing. It'll be Rico Petrocelli. 1-9 flies to left. Rick Miller, 2-8, is a base hit, double 1-4 single. He runs down to second with catcher's indifference. So you're not holding him at first. So he's at second with 1 out for Rick Burleson. 43 off Palmer's left X. Your left fielder is Bill Sharp. He's a 2E5. And that's a single. So Blair and Sharon, 2 good defensive players, have just kicked things in the Boston outfield. That actually will score a run as well. It's 8-3. Now all you need is 1 more hit or walk, and that's goodbye Jim Palmer. So that's what Boston needs first and foremost. It'll be Yaz. He's 1 for 4 today. 1-4 is a fly ball to right. And with 2 outs, it'll come down to Doug Griffin or a pinch hitter. Actually, Doug Griffin does very well against righties. We'll just let him swing away. 63 is off the Palmer card. It's going to be an X. It's his E rating. Palmer's an E27. That's poor, actually. So with the opportunity to close out the game, the ball is just hit back to Palmer. And he makes the play, and it's on the fielding rating. When you see a GBC here, his E-rate was not part of the play. It was off the 2 fielding rating, and that was a big break for Baltimore. As if they didn't have enough breaks today, Jim Palmer and the Orioles take command of the American League East, winning 8-3, the most convincing victory of the 5 games we've seen. A little disappointing finish to what was turning into a good series. And now we've done the first step in the postseason of discerning who's in first and who's in second. Now the rest of the tournament is, can Boston get back into it in the second and third rounds of this tournament. Roger Moret came in to face Belanger, gave up a hit, 2 walks, and 2 Ks. It was a tough day for Louis Tiant. He lost to Jim Palmer twice in the series, 12 hits and 8 runs. Ouch. That'll probably take you out of the Cy Young running if he was in it. 4 walks and 8 strikeouts. Jim Palmer gets a complete game. 9 hits and 3 runs. Not a particularly great game. Just no walks and 2 strikeouts. A lot of contact for the Sox. 1009, 0109, 813, 39. We'll take this right to the stats. 610, 02, 02, 610. I wonder if all this hitting Baltimore has done lately has brought their team batting average up to 250, which is a super conservative estimate, as the league hitting almost 270. Baltimore's had its struggles until now. So it's now a 3.5 game lead for Baltimore in the East. And the Sox have fallen all the way down to 500 at 18 and 18. So not only are they in trouble for the East, now they got to put their workman gloves on and then go back out and get on a hot streak and get into a wild card race. I mean, we assumed they were going to be safe for a wild card at least, but it hasn't turned out that way. So Baltimore's team batting average, it's 242 after that lusty output in Fenway. They're still just hitting 242. The ERA is 376, which is okay but for a Baltimore pitching staff, that's not that great. They've scored 141 runs, given up 137. Indicating that they win a lot of close games and they've been blown out a few times. Even though they just had a 8-run victory in there. Red Sox have scored 180 runs, given up 169, and so they've kind of been unlucky. They're hitting 265 with a 4.26 ERA. Tiant's 4-7. Bill Lee is 6-2. Bill Lee went to the All-Star game, and that's the problem. If Tiant's ERA is over 5, and that's just not going to work. Period. I mean, you like to think he could have a lousy year, and other guys can pick up for him. The offense could pick up, bullpen maybe, but no, they just don't have that. They need Lee, Tiant, and the offense to explode, and they don't have all that firing. Palmer's 7-3. Jim Palmer has 10 complete games. He is on course. He didn't go to the All-Star game, but the ERA's a little bit over 3. Not a big deal, but there are better pitchers right now, statistically. Kenny Singleton, 8 homers and 25 RBI to carry the offense. Looking at the overall standings in the East, it should be 3.5 now, yeah. So the rest of the American League's happy. Now the Yankees and the Blue Jays, and now you get to Cleveland, and you get to the White Sox. And you have simply opened the door to the American League wild card race this early in the postseason tournament, and there's going to be lots of ebbs and flows. Teams that look like they're eliminated are certainly going to come back, and teams who look like they were shoo-ins are going to be like, what just happened? So that's it today. Break up the Baltimore Orioles, taking control of the American League East, beating Boston 4-1. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.